NYYST.
Holla, why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets, cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocket here, ain't stopping here. It's strange how they cannot see the future, but see profit here. Wait up, we gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise here, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas.
Welcome back. This is episode 475 of the NYYST podcast, and we are live on NYY Underground. I am your host, Christian, and I'm with my co-host, Sem.
What's up?
Feels good to be back live here on NYYU. The Yankee schedule has just made it hard for us to get back together here on NYY Underground. And we were supposed to be live last week, and then just everything else got in the way. But we're back here live tonight. If you're watching us right now live on NYY Underground, please forgive me right now. My Wi-Fi is acting up, so if we're having a little technical difficulty on my end with the video, that's what it is. I'm going to have to try to get this fixed. But we're glad to be back here live on NYY Underground. The Yankees are off tonight after dropping 2 out of 3 from Cincinnati. It's just another week of Yankee baseball where they've just not looked right. But before we get into all that, if you're in the chat tonight, welcome back to the NYYST podcast here on NYYU. Please like this video and subscribe to NYYU. And please make sure you are subscribed to the NYYST podcast on your favorite podcast platform or any podcast platform that you it doesn't even have to be your favorite one. Just subscribe to any of them, because I guarantee you there's some of you in the chat tonight that don't think that we've done a show in a month, and we have. So if you're subscribed on your favorite podcast platform, you won't miss anything. Make sure you tell everybody NYYST is the official Yankee podcast of Odyssey. Now that we're all caught up, it's been an interesting couple of days here for the Yankees, because as you and I, Jason, sat here and recorded on Sunday after they did take a series against Baltimore, I was really feeling good about this team because they finally won a series. They had that big come from behind win, and I felt like this was maybe a jumping off point to them playing better baseball. And then we go to Cincinnati, first inning, Judge hits a home run, and then it's pretty much another Yankee shit show.
It was a shit show. Yeah, bunch of duds. Not much action. Yesterday, obviously, they put up some runs, but the other 2 games just kind of sucked. Again, boring baseball. No real offense. And it's just, you're leaving batters, I'm having a bad day. Leaving runners in scoring position and all that stuff. And it's just same old Yankees. It's just like we were riding high for most of the season. And then here we are, dreading it almost.
Let's shout out New York Sports Empire in the chat tonight. He's been, I was supposed to shout him out on the show on Sunday, and I forgot. I told him, if you don't remind me, I will forget. I'm old, I forget things. So there's your shout out, my friend. The Yankees, this losing streak that the Yankees have been on, it's done a lot of damage. Sometimes you can survive losing streaks, but the Yankees have not really survived this losing streak here, because as we've talked about, that the Tampa Bay Rays, and thank you to the Kansas City Royals for being utterly useless this week and getting swept by the Rays. You're only supposed to play patsy for the Yankees, okay? You're not supposed to play patsy for everybody in the American League East. So the Rays are now only a game behind the Yankees. Toronto won today. They're 3 behind. Even the Red Sox, the Red Sox are on a 5-game losing streak. So this is what really frustrates you about the Red Sox. They're not that good. They're just not that good. And they're now 8 back of the Yankees after this 5-game losing streak. But here's where the Yankees kind of did themselves really dirty, is that, again, the Phillies, who played really well against the Mets, went to Houston and scored 1 damn run all week and got swept by the Astros. And now the Astros or a game up on the Yankees for the second spot in the American League. I can't stress it enough how important it is for the Yankees to at least be the second best team in the American League this year. They will not get through the American League playoffs if they have to play the wild card round. So what this losing streak did is it brought the Rays into play. Although I think when push comes to shove here, the Yankees will outlast the Tampa Bay Rays because there's going to be a lot of quirkiness to the Rays schedule as we move along here with them being on the road a lot going forward in the second half of the season. And so that might play into the Yankees' advantage here also going forward. But what really has kind of messed things up for the Yankees is that Houston wasn't really a threat to them for that second spot in the American League a couple weeks ago, and now they are the second best team in the American League. So now they have to worry about not only maintaining their division lead, but not falling so far behind or falling further behind where they're cemented in as a third team. Because I'm telling you right now, anybody in the chat can disagree with me on this, and I respectfully tell you that you're wrong. The Yankees are not getting to the World Series playing the wild card round this year.
They can't handle the pressure of a regular game. Can you imagine the pressure of a wild card game? They're pressing as it is. You put them in that position, they're gonna. I don't have the faith in this team to pull that off, and then to make a run on it to make it all the way to the World Series. It doesn't seem like it's in the cards for us this year if we end up in the wild card.
Now, I think there's a little confusion in the chat right now. Not that the Yankees are going to be the wild card team if they play in the wild card round, because still the third division winner plays in that first round. They just get to play the third wild card team. I don't think the Yankees have enough right now to be able to sustain or get through the American League having to play that extra round. I don't, because I think Detroit right now is tougher than anybody the Yankees played last year in the American League playoffs. So for you to have to expend extra energy to get to the ALCS this year is not going to be a position the Yankees want to be in. And I think it's going to be one that could be fatal to them and their chances of winning, repeating as American League champions.
Good take. All I got, you brought up the Tampa Bay Rays, and I just want to say, Wander Franco's a piece of shit, and I want to let everybody know that.
I think everybody knows that, and
It's just on my brain. If I didn't say it, it would bother the hell out of me. But now he's convicted, so he's a convicted piece of shit.
Yeah, although I don't know what we can and can't actually say here because there's certain words that get flagged, but apparently he pretty much got away with doing what he did.
He should have had a real torpedo bat. Ha 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 ha.
We got a super chat here from Dozer Phase. He says Yankees playing these sub 500 teams and can't win. What the F, man? Should be easy wins. I mean, they haven't really lost to sub 500 teams. I mean, Cincinnati was barely above 500. The Red Sox were winning games when they lost. They were barely, I mean, but if you want to say mediocre teams the Yankees are better than, yeah, then I agree, because I think when you and I talked on Sunday after the Orioles series, I felt very confident about the Yankees going into Cincinnati because that's a excuse me, that's a ballpark that the Yankees should be able to score a lot of runs in, and they didn't score runs at all until the finale Wednesday night. They only had the solo home run against Nick Lodolo on Monday, and you know what? On Alan Winans was good for 3 innings, and then it all kind of fell apart. But you know what? If you looked at that and said that's a game we lose because Winans, who knows? Okay, but I would have expected the Yankees to lose that game 7-5 or 8-6 or something like that. To be completely shut down was crazy, in my opinion. And then you move to Tuesday night, and Chase Burns was not the scheduled starter. It was, I forget who it was. We talked about him. Another guy that the Yankees should have been able to hit. And then Chase Burns comes in there, and what did he do? Strike out the first 6 guys that he faced, pumping 100 miles an hour. And the Yankees ended up getting to them for a couple of runs there, and they were up 3-0 in going into the seventh inning. And then this is, this is where a lot of controversy then comes into play here. Now, obviously, the Yankees were shut down by a young phenom. They were up 3-0, but you get into the seventh inning here, up 3-0. I think everybody listening to this felt pretty good about the Yankees' chances in winning the game on Tuesday night. Now, when we go to the bottom of the seventh, Jonathan LeMahieu is on the mound, and so I wasn't fully paying attention to Rodon's pitch count at that point. But I said, let me look it up because I don't think he threw a lot of pitches, and he was at 88 pitches. So I'm saying to myself, all right, I'm not going to, I don't want to immediately rush and kill Aaron Boone on this, right? Because it's pretty stupid to take out Rodon, who pitched 6 scoreless innings, out of the game at 88 pitches. But I did post on X. I said, let's see, wait, kind of paraphrasing what I said here, but let's see, wait, what happened? Why did he come out of the game? But if this was Boone's doing, then this is just another check mark for Boone being a horrendous manager. And then naturally, Loaiza comes in, he pukes all over himself, maybe literally, because he was sick on Monday, pitched Tuesday. He wasn't with the team again on Wednesday because he was sick. I don't know what type of illness he had, but he left the team with illness on Wednesday. And then the Yankees don't score. They don't score in the 10th. They get the gift run in the 11th, and then they lost pretty much because the bullpen was gassed. You're leaving Mark Leiter Jr. in there for a second inning, which I think we all kind of figured was disaster. They lose the game. Very frustrating loss. But what's the big controversy about it? We alluded to it. Carlos Rodon. 88 pitches. He said after the game he was gassed. It was, everybody that lives in the Northeast here knows the heat that we've been dealing with. Now, I know Ohio is not New York, New Jersey, but they had the same type of heat wave that we did. Just walking to my car, you could feel, in the past couple of days, you felt it, man. You felt that this was kind of fucked up, this heat that we've been dealing with. And doing, and I went grocery shopping the other day and just pushing the carriage to the car in that heat. I'm like, God damn, this is wild. I couldn't imagine having to go out there and throw 88 high stress pitches in a Major League Baseball game in this heat, which that's a lot of the times it's hotter on the field than it is anywhere else because of the way that the heat comes off the field. So he said he was gassed. Knowing what we know of Carlos Rodon, I got to believe him. I don't think he was sticking up for Aaron Boone. I mean, in a different world, is he sticking up for his manager? Or even in this world, yeah, maybe he would. But how many times has he been complete ass and Boone goes to the mound and he's bitching to keep the ball? And this time, he's pitching great. The Rodon resurgence is back on. Choo-choo, all aboard the train here, because this is what we needed to see after the last 3 starts. Him go out there and drag his nuts on the mound, which he did. 6 scoreless innings. This is exactly what we needed to see out of Rodon after a couple of spotty starts here. And yeah, I do call the Angels spot starty because he gave up 3 home runs. I'm not in love with that. He pitched okay in that game compared to how he had been. But, to go out here 6 scoreless, I was very happy with his performance. And then for him to not want to go back out there, I got to say, you know what? I believe him. I believe that the Heat wiped him out. So the big issue here in Tuesday night is that Jonathan Loaiza came in here and he didn't get the job done for whatever reason. It didn't feel good because I don't think if you really look at some of the placements and the hits that he gave up, it's not like he got tattooed, but it didn't work out for the Yankees. They ended up losing the game because he blew the game in the 7th inning. But I saw a lot of consternation on social media yesterday by people that should probably be smarter than to say things like this, that say shit like this in an air-conditioned studio while wearing a tank top, about how soft Carlos Rodon is, about how he's got to be tougher out there, questioning his athleticism. Okay, you can go and say all that, but my God, you couldn't be more comfortable. You couldn't be in a more comfortable setting. This guy's sweating his ass off pitching in 100-degree weather. And I know everybody likes to run and say, "Oh, pitchers are soft these days," which we'll talk about in 1 second, okay? Because we're gonna rehash the Clark Schmidt start, which we covered on the show on Sunday. But anybody's got a problem with Carlos Rodon coming out of the game on Tuesday. I don't know what to tell you, man, because honestly, I think you guys all know my feelings towards Rodon, and then obviously they've kind of turned a little bit this year. And anybody would want to come on here and just kill Rodon, especially after the Yankees blew that game on Tuesday night, would probably be me. But I honestly, I don't know how more guys don't have the heat affect them like when they play in those conditions. I mean, we live in New Jersey. You heard the story about what was it, 150 something people in that graduation at Hinchcliffe
Oh, they had to
Stadium
cancel it. Yeah,
got sick from the heat.
yeah.
Francisco Alvarez, who got demoted by the Mets, was experienced dizzy spells from the heat the other day. I mean, so I'm surprised this type of thing doesn't happen more often. And yeah, I do believe Carlos Rodon that your gas meter, you know, there's less in the tank when you're pitching and when it's 95 degrees plus out there in the middle of a heat wave. So my problem is in Rodon. It's people that get to sit in air conditioned studios and call baseball players soft because he was tired after pitching in the fucking heat all night.
No, listen, I work outside. I experienced that heat, and I was in the air conditioning truck most of the time. Guy got out, help people out, and do stuff, go do move this equipment, do whatever. You know, that heat has me so screwed up. I'm still not feeling good today. The past 2 days I watched the games. I was having trouble watching games. I couldn't imagine playing in one, you know. And I think we all know what the type of player that Rodon is. He's intense. He wants to play. He wants to be there, whether he's playing like garbage or he's not. He wants to be on the mound. If Aaron Boone pulled him out and he was against it and people were trashing Rodon online or whatever, you know, his wife would have been on there tweeting about it, about how it's bullshit, yada yada yada. You know, it's this. When it comes to sports, Rodon's pretty much an open book. You could read it all over his face. You know what's going on. It I don't think that he's covering for Boone. Coming out at 88 pitches, I think it's very commendable for him to go that far and to do that because it was hot. That heat was disgusting. The humidity was terrible. It was just hard to breathe. Like I said, I'm still screwed up 2 days later. You know, it was. I think I lost about a pound and a half just from sweating yesterday. It's disgusting. You know, you got to give these guys a break. You know, they're not. And he pitched awesome. So it's not even like he did a bad job. But you got to give these guys a break. They're human. They're playing in these were a lot less than favorable conditions here. So, you know, it's just people need to cut them. We're always quick to criticize people, but you got to be able to cut people a break when they deserve it.
Right. And, you know, this goes back to the whole Clark Schmidt thing because, oh, Rodon is soft. And then now it's like, oh, pitchers are soft. And, you know, a guy I got into an argument with on social media. It was, well, I told you this. He's bringing up Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver retired before my sister was even born. Okay. And my sister is 3 years younger than me. I'm in
So
my 40s. So do the
he
math.
retired before I was born.
Okay. So, how do you call it? Everybody that's, you know, screaming that Clark Schmidt should have been allowed to chase a no hitter with 6 outs to go. Did you catch Aaron Boone yesterday when he said they're going to push Clark back a day this turnaround because he's not recovering as quickly? Did you catch that? So this is him throwing 103 pitches, and the Yankees showing some constraint and being smart about the situation and getting him out of the game. He's a little bit more sore than he normally is after a start. And you wanted him to throw another 35 or 40 pitches to chase a no hitter. So we can come on here and kill Aaron Boone for a lot of things, but as I always say, I'm going to be fair. The Yankees and Aaron Boone were completely in the right. They made the right move. They were 100% correct in getting Schmidt out of the game on Saturday. And you can see the residual effects of them not even of pushing him just a little bit, you could see the residual effect of it. And there's people on there that bitched and cried that he needed to throw another 40 pitches to chase a no-hitter. Again, with 6 outs to go, not 3, 6. And they already got to push him back. Could you imagine what would have happened if he threw those 40, if the Yankees let him go do that? It wasn't worth it.
No, you got to push him back for that, and then conservatively speaking, he's going to pitch at least another 30 pitches. You got to figure out, is a perfect game worth your season? He ends up with a lat strain or something stupid like that, and then now we're down another pitcher. You got Yarborough on the IL. We're going to be getting Marcus Stroman back, which he's ass. We're still waiting for Heel to get back. There's so much unknowns, and then without Cole, you want to risk having another starting pitcher, your number 3 pitcher, down? I don't think so. It's not worth it because the odds of him actually getting to you know what I'm saying? What would have been the odds of him pitching a no-hitter at that point? They could, there's so many things that come into play. There was a bad call that ended up ending it. You know what I'm saying? That Sanchez ends up with an extra at bat, well, an extra pitch. Anything could happen. It's not like it was a sure thing. People are just, it's not a predetermined outcome. He still has to go out there and perform and do it. It's not, and he was in uncharted territory. This is not where he's never been that high before, or he's once before. You're asking a lot of a young pitcher.
Somebody in the chat saying Rodon could have went into the AC during when the Yankees were batting. Okay, so do me a favor, my friend. Go out there, throw 20 pitches, expend all that energy, and then go sit in the AC for 5 minutes and do that 6 different times and tell me that you're not tired.
That's how you
Tell me
get
that,
sick.
yeah, tell me that something isn't just different when it's 95 to 100 degrees outside than if you were doing that and it was 65 and cool, like a night like tonight is right now, 40 degrees cooler than it's been in the last couple of days here. Tell me that your body doesn't react to that, because he does. Okay, it's just like I said, I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. You know. So, you know what? I'm not, this is what I don't understand. You know what? You want to take shots at Carlos Rodon, whatever, you're wrong about that for certain. Okay. I had no problem with it. I know seeing people in the chat are calling Boone out for going to LeMahieu knowing he was sick. I mean, if he told Boone he was okay, I mean, I don't know what else Boone can do. We saw kind of how the Yankees bullpen was a little bit short on Tuesday night. They won't go to Devin Williams for multiple innings. He even said, Williams. Oh my God, I'm just sick of Devin Williams right now. I know he's been pitching a lot better, and maybe I should lay off him. But the whole thing yesterday about him saying I'm a 1 inning pitcher, and the Yankees have just coddled this guy for the moment he got here. They've just coddled him, and I don't understand it. And then Boone's kind of agreeing with him in the media. Like, you really want to see a point where the Yankees lost the game. Devin Williams threw 9 pitches. They could have easily gotten more out of him on Tuesday night. Now, I don't know. Again, they get through the 10th. You still got to bring in Mark Leiter, but it's not Mark Leiter that had already thrown an inning, So I don't know. Weaver's still coming off the IL. You're really not going to tax him in that situation. You're not going, for Christ, you're not going to Ian Hamilton, and I think he threw 34 pitches the night before. You don't want to go to JT Brubaker in a close game. I mean, I know Tim Hill's got a rubber arm, but I mean, even that has its limits. So the Yankees bullpen is short, and we saw that again. We saw it exposed against the Red Sox in the Bronx, and we saw how tired it was in this series. People look to, well, we need this, the Yankees need help in this bullpen. I mean, if you look at where this team needs the most help, and I know they're not hitting right now, and I know that's what everybody is focused on. I mean, if I could make one big splash at the deadline, it's bringing in somebody that can just chuck heat out of this bullpen, provide a little bit of relief for the relievers, where you can maybe, Jonathan Loáisiga hadn't pitched, this amended Tommy John surgery that he basically had, and the Yankees he's back, throw him right back in the fire. He didn't really get a chance to ease into anything because the Yankees needed him. Same thing with Luke Weaver. He's right off the IL into a high pressure situation. Only been in high pressure situations because they need him. Mark Leiter Jr., I think he's better than a lot of fans give him credit for, but he's also can be hit or miss. There's games where he just gets the snot kicked out of him, or if the Yankees try to overextend him, when they overextend him, it seems like it's just not working out for him. So they need help in this bullpen. Jake Cousins was somebody they were relying on coming back. He's having Tommy John surgery. So you gotta look for it. And I don't think this is an original thought because I've heard other people say it. You got to start calling the Rockies. You got to start calling these teams that are out of it right now and saying, what's it going to take? What's it going to take to pry Jake Bird or one of the other guys that they have that throw 100 miles an hour? What's it going to take to get this guy here and be proactive and not wait till we get closer to the deadline? Because with 3 wild cards, you want to look it up right now? How many teams are less or how do you call it here? In the American League, right? So if you look at the wild card race in the American League, only three teams in the American League are not within 3.5 games of a playoff spot right now. The Orioles, the Athletics, and the White Sox. Everybody else in the American League is at least within 3.5 games of a playoff spot. If you go to the National League, it's a little bit bigger pool. There's 5 teams that are 6.5 games or more back. But that's still 8 out of 30 teams that are kind of out of it. And the Braves, they win tonight. Maybe they get a little bit closer here. Maybe they think they're still in it. And I don't think that's a team that's going to want to sell. So you really have like 6, and you probably have like 6 teams that know they're out of it right now. So that just drastically shrinks the pool of people that you can trade with. So you got to go out there and you got to look and say, hey, you know what? Maybe this team, like, I don't know, we'll just take the Diamondbacks, for example, who are 3 out of a 3rd wild card, and they've dealt with a lot of serious injuries. Maybe they're just trying to stay afloat right now. Maybe then in a couple of weeks they think they're buyers. So why don't you wait? Why would you wait until more teams declare themselves buyers now? I mean, it could obviously work conversely where more teams declare themselves sellers, but you have to just kind of get ahead of this thing. Because honestly, if you really think about it, I don't know if this bullpen can survive another month without getting some help in here.
It's a tough predicament to be in. I mean, so it's just assuming that they're not working on it, and not actively out there trying to get somebody. But it seems to be the glaring issue. I think they know it, we know it, everybody knows it. They need to strengthen up the bullpen. I personally don't think there's any way that they're going to be able to do that. You got Mark Leiter, he pitched 24 pitches the other day, came out, pitches 2 innings the next day, stuff like that. You can't multiple innings pitch with Jesus Christ, Devin Williams. And then you're getting injuries that are just starting to happen or people not coming back. It's systematically becoming a problem. You're hoping that Heel comes back and you're hoping that he comes back and becomes the pitcher that he was. Tim Hill is not the lights out pitcher that we had at the, last year. It just, things just aren't falling into perfect place that they would need to be for this bullpen to make it what it is. So you need to strengthen it. They need to go out. They need to find somebody. Without that, it seems like a very tough road ahead, especially with the fact when the Yankees offensively have just been falling flat on their face and not scoring the runs. It's just it's a recipe for disaster because it's not sustainable at this point.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Fernando Cruz, who did come in to clean up that mess on Tuesday. So I guess you could have went Cruz Williams, Cruz Weaver Williams to get the win there. But again, I don't know what I don't know what the right answer is. He wants to use Loizica. Loizica said that he was good to go. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to kill Boone for that. I mean, I'm really not going to do that because again, Fernando Cruz is a guy. I like him, but I don't love him in a big spot, if that makes any sense. I mean, that splitter's got to be working for him to be effective. And there's been times that we've seen that it hasn't been effective. And like Scott Wright said in the chat, Seth Halverson, that's the guy that I noticed when we were in Colorado. The guy's coming out there, average velocity is 100. And like Scott echoed my sentiment. What longer you wait, the more teams are going to be in on these guys. So call them up now. Call them up. What's it going to take? What do I got to give you? And they're going to come and say some dumb thing like Spencer Jones or any, then you hang up the phone. But if they want to have a legitimate conversation, now is the time to have it. I'm not saying Brian Cashman isn't. Who knows what he's doing? But I mean, the Yankees have to be proactive in this and get some bullpen help. And I think Chef Nick in the chat said we got to get Tonkin back. I'm a big honky Tonkin man guy, but he's on this 60-day IL, so and he hasn't pitched all year, so I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. What the Yankees need to start doing in all reality, besides getting a pitcher and doing this, that, and the other thing, they just need to start beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. I think that goes back to the super chat from before. It's not that they're being like sub 500 win teams. It's they're just not beating the teams that they should. And then they're going out and almost making it look easy when they're playing like the Mets or the Padres or something like that. And then when they go up against the Angels, going as the two worst pitchers in the league, they lose. They don't score runs. That affects every other aspect of the play. If they're not scoring runs, it makes it harder for the bullpen. And then that taxes the bullpen and then creates the other issue. These guys need to wake up their bats and they need to score runs. That's what it's always going to come around to. The Yankees are not. They did. They lost the other day. They had three. They scored 3 runs, and then there's a base clearing. Whether it was a base clearing double or was it a triple, whatever the hell that guy hit, and they tie the game up. But it was only 3 runs. They need to score 5, 6, 7. They need to put these teams away, and they need to put them away early instead of always leaving runners on base, striking out in big situations. It's just causing it's a waterfall. It's a domino effect. When they're not scoring, it makes everything else harder. That is just the simple facts of the matter.
So I'm trying to look at when Fernando Cruz pitched. He didn't pitch Monday. He pitched Sunday. He pitched. He didn't pitch on Saturday. And then did he pitch on Friday? So I don't know. The usage really isn't there. He didn't pitch. He didn't pitch on Friday, so he's had some time to rest. So again, I don't know. He wanted Loizica in that spot. That's all I can tell you. And if Loizica said that he was good to go, then I'm not going to get mad at Boone for that. I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, you just kind of have to accept it for what it was. That the guy wasn't feeling his best, and he didn't get the job done. But I get it. I understand the frustration. I will say that in that situation.
The way he came off the mound, I thought he was hurt. And that's why I text you. I said, I'm done. Because he's always injury prone. He's always getting hurt. And that's right where my mind went.
But then we go to Cruz pitched yesterday. He followed Max Fried. He struck out 3 batters. Max Fried was great again yesterday, man. I don't know what else to say about Max Fried other than he's been worth every penny the Yankees have paid him. I believe he's the first of 10 wins this year. ERA down to 1.92. The great thing about Max Fried, and I mentioned this on X last night, is that not only is he an elite pitcher, meaning his stuff and he gets guys out at the plate, but he's an elite fielder. He's got an elite pickoff move. He has the ability to get outs that other pitchers can't get. Other pitchers can't field their position like Max Fried can. Other pitchers can't pick guys off like Max Fried can. So Max Fried can get himself an easy extra, sometimes 3, 4 outs throughout the course of a game by fielding his position and picking guys off, where that's an extra inning that he's in the game. Would you love to see Max Fried pitch 5 2/3 or pitch 7? So him being able to field his position and pick guys off, that gets him into the 7th inning. That gets him to be a guy where now you only have to ask 6 outs out of your bullpen. So, I mean, it's been amazing to watch Matt and that curveball, man. When he can get that lollipop in there, it's as pretty of a curveball as I've seen when he gets it, when he drops it in the strike zone and guys just don't know what to do and they stare at it. So, excuse me. Uh, but Max Fried, he did go a little bit longer. He won 10. He pitched 106. Did get the extra inning last night, and I was looking at that because I think he was around that 90 mark in the sixth inning. So I don't know. The heat affects everybody differently. Maybe it was a little cooler last night, so I don't know because that's another thing. Well, Fried pitched 7 innings. Max Fried is not Carlos Rodon. They're not the same person, number one. And number two, I know it was still hot in Cincinnati yesterday, but even if the temperature dropped 5 degrees, when it goes from 95 to 90, I think a lot of us can say that's a big change in temperature too, because you're like, it's hot, but not like equator hot at that point. So again, listen, at the end of the day, the Yankees did not do enough, regardless if Carlos Rodon pitched a seventh inning to win that game on Tuesday. They haven't scored enough runs consistently over this stretch here where they've gone it's 4-9 now, right? They're 4-9 in these last 13 games. So we talked about what the Yankees have let happen in this losing streak. About now Toronto's on their tail. Tampa's right behind them. Houston's the number 2 team in the American League now. So when is it going to change? It should have changed when they got home to play the Angels after they got swept in Boston. They lost the first 3 games. Okay, then they have a good series against the Orioles, and you say, okay, now that was the change. They won the Sunday game, they won the series. That's the change. Except for then they dropped the first 2 in Cincinnati. Now they come home and play a team that they should be able to handle. And excuse me, my voice is my throat is so dry. My voice is killing me right now. In the 33-50 A's, but does anybody truly have faith in the Yankees that they'll win this series? The way that they have been playing, you get to play a 33-50 team in your own ballpark. We should be expecting sweep. But I don't know. I don't know what to expect from the Yankees. And I hate the fact that for the last 3 weeks, basically, I don't know what the hell I'm getting out of this team.
I expected them to win 2 out of 3 against Cincinnati, and you'd hope that they'd win all 3 against the A's. You don't know though, because you don't know if the bats are going to be there. You don't, you know, it's Aaron Judge has. I don't want to say he's not there. He's still hitting. He's not hitting it the way he had been. His batting average is clearly dropping. But it seems that Judge is striking out in very pivotal situations. You know,
That's all he's doing is striking out.
exactly. So it's like, if he's not producing, he's not adding anything to the game. It just becomes now you're relying on Paul Goldschmidt. Oh, wait, no, Paul Goldschmidt's not hitting. Oh, so you're relying on Ben Rice. Ben Rice is hitting. Trent Grisham yesterday.
Ben Rice has gotten hot again.
Yes, but Trent Grisham yesterday, all of a sudden he was, oh, hi, I'm back. It's so we don't know what's going to happen because there is no consistency anywhere.
So
Jazz has been the only one that's been consistent since he's came back, and that's still saying he's been consistent to stretch almost.
So Aaron Judge got the day off on June 12th. That was kind of when this whole offensive swoon started. They only scored 1 run in that game. Okay. He came into that game, pinch hit late, struck out. So in the 14 that game counts. So 14 games, that game on to last night's game. Aaron Judge is hitting an even 200 right now. In 50 at bats, Aaron Judge has struck out 23 times. Okay. Now, we made a deal on this show that we were going to talk about Aaron. We weren't going to skip a show without talking about Aaron Judge, and it was because we didn't want to ignore his greatness. Now we have to talk about the slump that he's been in because it's been going on for 2 weeks, over 2 weeks now, okay? He's hitting 200, and he struck out 23 out of 50 at-bats. 50% of the time, Aaron Judge is striking out, just a little bit under. That's not the guy we saw for the first 6 weeks of the season. A guy that was flirting with 400. When Aaron Judge slumps, Aaron Judge chases. Aaron Judge is out of the strike zone a lot more than he was throughout the first 2.5 months of the season. He can say that, somebody brought up his hands. It's not mechanical. Right now, to me, I watch Aaron Judge. I see a guy that's slumping, which happens to everybody. I think we all thought he kind of figured he wasn't going to hit 400. I think had hopes and dreams that he would, because if anybody's capable of doing it, it's him. But, slumps happen to the best of them, and he's in one. But to me, also, like, now I think this is kind of progressing here because it's been a little mental with him because of the way he's chasing. And I think he cleaned up a lot of that in the beginning of the season while things were going well. So now maybe he's pressing because it's all whole cause and effect here. Is he pressing? And that's why he's chasing. So I don't know, but I was hoping that Friday night against Baltimore when they gave out his Superman bobblehead, when he had the 3 hits, was going to get him going, and it hasn't. I thought going to Cincinnati and hitting that tank in the first inning was going to get him going, and it hasn't. And the Yankees are suffering because of it. They're 5-9 in these 14 games where Aaron Judge has not been Aaron Judge. And this is a big problem that the Yankees have dealt with for 10 years now almost, is that if this guy doesn't hit, they don't win baseball games. Jason Dominguez had 4 hits last night. Trent Grisham had 4 hits last night. So this is one of the rare times. Jazz had the big home run that kind of lifted the monkey off of everybody's back because they went 0 for 6 with fucking runners in scoring position, striking out 6 times in the first 2 innings yesterday. I wanted to put my head through the friggin' TV. But Jazz finally got, they got the one run, that one measly bullshit run that they ended up scoring. And then Jazz finally gets the home run, which kind of let everybody exhale, and they were able to tack on late, which Paul O'Neill said was a great sign, which we'll see if they go out and against Oakland. They're Oakland. I don't care. Oakland. Against Oakland here this week. Maybe it was a great sign that they were able to put some hits together and score some runs late in that game and put Cincinnati away. And I don't want to say the Yankees are losing solely because of Aaron Judge, but it just, again, it goes to show you the immense value and the importance of Aaron Judge to the New York Yankees. He goes into a slump, the entire team stops winning. They were the second best team in all of baseball before Aaron Judge went into a slump. I think they were either tied with the Tigers or they were a game up, and I think only the Cubs had a better record than them in all of baseball. He goes into a slump. They go 5-9 now, and the Yankees are the third best team in their own league now, with the Rays 1 game behind them. So everybody, Cal Raleigh hasn't stopped hitting. So Cal Raleigh, blah blah blah. I'm telling you right now, the Mariners can fall on their fucking faces every single year and not be able to beat the Astros with or without Cal Raleigh. The Yankees can't do a goddamn thing without Aaron Judge. With Aaron Judge, they are one of the best teams in the league. I have never seen people always say that baseball is not controlled by one player. It's not football where the quarterback not being there completely transforms the team. Or in basketball, like LeBron or I don't know. I don't watch a lot of basketball. That's why I'm still staying LeBron, even though he's old as shit now. Where Michael Jordan, one player can dominate a game and lift the team. It's not supposed to be like that in baseball, but for the Yankees, it is. If Aaron Judge does not hit, if Aaron Judge does not carry the Yankees, they don't win. You get the rare game like you got last night where you get contributions from 3 or 4 other guys and they are able to overcome it, and you get an outstanding performance from your ace, but that is a rarity. That is not what happens normally when Aaron Judge goes into a slump. Aaron Judge, the Yankees carried Aaron Judge through the postseason because they had 2 tremendously hot hitters, and let's face it, teams that they should have beat even without Aaron Judge in the American League playoffs, okay? That's how they got through it. He still didn't hit in the World Series, and they weren't able to overcome it when they got faced with a competition that could stare them in the eyes. This is the same thing that's been going on year after year after year. And it hasn't changed ever. Like last year was the only year we saw a little bit of change here. But still, we're still sitting here year after year where if Aaron Judge doesn't hit, the Yankees don't win. It's wild that they have not been able to put the pieces around this guy to say, hey, you don't have to do it all. And then people wonder why he struggles in the postseason because the Yankees literally 25 of them, 26 if you count that moron in the dugout, picking his nose and blowing bubbles, sit on his shoulders waiting for him to do something. And he's not Superman. The fact, if you want to say what Aaron Judge's kryptonite is, it's the expectations and the weight of the world on his shoulders. And if you want to use that as a knock on him, fine, go ahead. But I've never seen one baseball player in my entire life, in my entire fandom, expect it and need it to do as much for a baseball team as Aaron Judge is expected and needs to do for these Yankees.
Well, you need someone there that's going to share some of that responsibility, is what it is. And, if Giancarlo's hurt or he's not hitting, it would be him. But then when you bring up Dominguez, we were all hoping that it would be Dominguez. We all know it's not going to be Volpe at this point. So Dominguez was the next in line, because we say this, he's the future of the team. So we saw last year he didn't play whatever the year whenever he played, he gets up his first major league at bats, a home run. He wows us all like, oh my God, look at this kid hit, and he gets hurt, then he comes back, and we're all expecting him to then, be there to carry the torch with Aaron Judge, be I'm trying to think, contribute. There you go. He's going to contribute just as much, making Aaron Judge's job that little bit easier. But there's not been that person stepping up to do that. In the beginning of the season, you had Ben Rice, you had Paul Goldschmidt, and you had Trent Grisham. All of them, lights out, were killing it. Then they start cooling off, and Cody Bellinger was killing it, and Judge was doing good. Then all of a sudden, everybody else falls off the face of the earth, and so does Judge. And now nobody's picking up the slack. No one else is stepping up there to be that person. And that's one of the problems that I have with Jason Dominguez being sat so often, because he's not even getting the chance because he's only playing 50% of the time. It becomes a problem.
Crackle Nuts, I love you, brother. Welcome back to the chat here. And no, I generally don't eat pizza crust. It's useless calories, bro. Come on. What are you getting? What are you getting out of pizza crust? It's just calories that you don't need to consume. But yeah, and I think we all, not everybody, because I understand the opposite side of it. And I was there for a long time too. But I think for me personally, it was like, okay, so we know what we lost in the offseason, and how do you make up for that? Well, it was because Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Wells, Ben Wright, blah, blah. You were naming like 6 guys to replace one of them. So you don't have that other guy in the lineup. You need to get contributions up and down the lineup. And I thought this lineup at times during the season has looked a lot deeper. But then Volpe slumps. Wells has been, honestly, Wells has been kind of a disappointment this year to me. I expected a lot more out of Austin Wells than what he's given the Yankees so far. Paul Goldschmidt was hitting 350. Now what is he hitting, under 290? He's not even playing a lot lately. I think he sat, I think, twice against Baltimore. He sat once in this series. Stands back. He's hitting, but he's not hitting for power. The Yankees need him to start hitting for power. They need him to start driving the ball over the wall. I mean, then you look at Grisham he was the Linsanity run back down to Grisham. Now he's starting to do a little bit better. And then you bring up Jason Dominguez. I mean, that game last night is exactly why this guy's got to be in the lineup every single day. A 4-hit game, driving the ball, beating out singles, stealing bases. He showed you last night how electric he can be. Let him see pitching every single day of the week, man. And this is a point that I wanted to make here, as we kind of round things out, is that when Stan came back, Boone said there was 2 groups of 3. It was the outfielders with Bellinger, Grisham, and Dominguez, and then it was the other group with the first base / DH with Stanton, Goldie, in Rice, where you're going to have to kind of sit one every day and kind of play this musical chairs game that he's been doing. And obviously, I think if Austin Wells continues to not be the guy that I thought that he had been, and striking out a lot, even you saw in the 10th inning the other day, and he got called out for this by Paul O'Neill, and he's 100% correct. Crackle nuts. I lived in the basement, bro. Like that's you have to know that I lived in the friggin' basement for years. Okay, I'm not afraid of the dark basement. Uh, he didn't get the runner over in the 10th inning. Just a wasted at bat there, where you can get a cheap run there and at least kind of put the pressure on Cincinnati in the 10th inning, right? Yeah, he's a good catcher, but you need to get some offensive production out of him too, because he was counted on as a guy who was going to hit 25 home runs for this team and drive in a lot of runs. And he hasn't been that guy. That's why he deserves to be hitting eighth right now, the way he's performed. And again, I'll say this is that I also don't think the Yankees did him a lot of favors by making him the leadoff hitter and then just jerking him around up and down the lineup. But I mean, if you're good, you're good. You're going to hit anywhere they put you. Okay. You got to start finding opportunities for Ben Rice to catch more. That's what I mean. That kind of solves that problem. Stand your DH and Goldschmidt, who I know he's not been hitting a lot lately. I mean, he's with the way Jazz sometimes throws the ball over there and the way sometimes Volpe throws the ball over there. I really need Paul Goldschmidt playing first base on an almost everyday level. So that kind of can solve itself. And maybe not in the way that you thought it could have. But if Austin Wells isn't going to contribute, he might be the odd guy out here. I don't think that's crazy to say. The Yankees already started Ben Rice behind the plate recently, and I don't think that was by accident either. I think that was because they wanted to see what he can do back there and kind of put Austin Wells on notice here, where you might be starting to lose a little bit of playing time.
Rightfully so. I mean, what Ben Rice started that game and he threw out the runner at second, like his first attempt, and it was nice to see that because you see other guys struggle, especially after we dealt with Trevino so long last year. Which again, fuck him for being a little snitch on Jazz Chisum. Jose Trevino was an asshole.
That was something.
What a douche! I couldn't when I saw that. I was like, but. Ben Rice's bat needs to be in there just as much. Well, not just as much, but almost as much as Jason Dominguez. I'll say it a million times that they're the future of the team. They're the guys that we want to see play and we want to see them develop and we want to see them hit their full potential. They're being robbed of that opportunity when you play guys who are playing shitty. I mean, that's what's happening. I think you should have Judge out there, or you can have Judge DH, whatever you want to do, if you want to give him a day or something, but that's far and few in between. You need to have Judge and Dominguez out there all the time. And I think you need to find a way to have Ben Rice in the lineup almost daily. Austin Wells is doing nothing. He's batting .217.
Pete, you got to block I love Crackle Nuts, so you got to block him now, bro. This guy honestly came on here and said my favorite player is Nestor Cortez. Okay, I think that earns a block.
You did drag me to go meet him.
Shut the fuck up. I never did that. I did not. Shut up.
Oh, and then they trade him, and all of a sudden you go like, oh, here's some shirts I have for you. And then I got a bunch of Nestor Cortez shirts.
I didn't drag you to meet Nestor Cortez.
You did.
That was your idea.
You did. You're like, hey, then you sent it to me. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go. Then you were mad at me because I didn't take a picture of you and him. I have the text messages.
Yeah, that was messed up because I made sure to get a picture of him signing your ball, and you were just, I don't know what the hell you were doing.
I don't know what I was doing either. I was enamored by nasty Nestor Cortez.
I said, yeah, let's go. I had nothing to do. I said, okay, the price was reasonable. I said, let's go meet him. I don't care.
Yeah, it was like $60.
It wasn't my idea. I wasn't like, let's go meet Nestor Cortez. That was you. You were like bouncing off the walls.
I was not. I think I was home when I had my neck surgery, so I was bored.
Yeah, so I mean, I hate saying it, man, because I like Austin Wells. I really thought he was going to be a big player for the Yankees, but like he's hitting .217. He's not. I mean, He is a very streaky hitter. We saw that last year, but he's playing a lot. Like the Yankees really aren't giving Escara more opportunity. They're giving him maybe a little bit more, but not like the way they played Trevino last year. So he's had his chance to get going here, and he had maybe like a week stretch where maybe it was starting to come together for him, and then right back into this slump. And like I hate saying it, but if he's going to continue this, you got maybe give Ben Rice some more opportunity behind the plate. This way, you can play Goldschmidt and Stanton every day. And then in the outfield is where it becomes still an issue. Yeah, I said on this show a couple weeks ago that the Grisham, regression, we were in the middle of it, but the Yankees rode that fucking wave, didn't they, man? They rode right through that wave because God forbid they put Trent Grisham on the bench. And right or wrong, smarter Yankees, he's come out of it and he's been a better hitter here the last week or so. So and the way he does play center field, it's hard to say one way or another that he shouldn't be playing. But also, how do you keep Jason Dominguez on the bench? How do you keep Cody Bellinger on the bench? I mean, that's where the outfield becomes an issue.
Dominguez needs to be in every game, and they just need to turn him loose. Let him steal the bases. Let him manufacture runs. He's just as good as Jazz Chisum is. The kid's friggin' fast. He beat out that throw yesterday, and it was like he came out of that box and he was like a friggin' cheetah. It was insane. Everyone's like, "Whoa!" And like that's what makes him lethal. He gets on base. He could do that. Same thing with Jazz. That's the whole thing about Volpe. But Volpe just, I don't even want to go there. But, because you're not going to have, Aaron Judge, he's not the fastest guy. Giancarlo Stanton steals a base once every 29 years. You know what I'm saying? Grisham's not that fast. Rice isn't that fast. You got the guy that's going to manufacture the runs. He's going to produce them. He's being left on the bench. And then let's pinch hit him. You bring him in out of nowhere. And then they start playing around with the lineup. And then you got JC Escara playing third base. It's like, I don't understand it. Like, if he's not in the game and there's other people that are better than him that you want to have hitting in that, why are we not playing him? It's just, or you got to pull him out in the seventh inning, and then also we're going to put him back. We're going to put him into games at the ninth. Yeah, it just makes no sense to me what the way that they handle him. It pisses me off. It gets frustrating. That's like insanely aggravating. Jason Dominguez is not a bad baseball player. He's been putting it together in left field. He hasn't had that big, like, oh my God, oops, like I can't believe he did that moment, like we were all afraid of it was going to happen. It, I don't understand why he's not in there. It really, to me, blows my mind.
Yeah, a couple people in the chat are mentioning play Bellinger more at first base. I guess that's an option you can go because you could play Dominguez and Grisham every day, but then are you committing to Ben Rice at catching, or you play and then what does that do to Goldschmidt? I mean, if you want to go lefty heavy against a tough righty, yeah, I mean that's a way. That's definitely a way you can go. But I mean, I don't think the Yankees are. I honestly think that they're probably closer to catching Rice more than Bellinger at first base more. What would you say to that?
I would agree because you're going to run into the problem of if Austin Wells keeps going the way he's going in a week or two, he's going to, well, no, he's going to be a 197 average hitter at that point. You know what I'm saying? His batting average is dropping, and they're going to have to do something at that point because that's a big number that's going to be there in your face, and they're going to be looking at it, and the fans are going to be pissed off, and they're going to do something. That's when they'll do it. When it becomes a very egregious, over the top, in your face problem. Oh, well, let's do this. We're gonna, do I think Austin Wells earned his spot? I mean, like he earned his spot against Jose Trevino, who was absolutely friggin' awful here. Then he goes to Cincinnati and he's like a phenom, but like he's not earning his spot right now. And I think JC Escara is just JC Escara. I don't think he's gonna be the future Yankee catcher. But you have Ben Rice here.
I know
Try
you
him
hate
out.
JC Escobar. He's a decent. I mean, for
I
being a
don't hate
backup
Jason
catcher,
Escobar.
he's a solid
It's
backup
grown
catcher.
on me. The story made me sick, and him as a player though, now that he's playing, you see him more often, he's grown on me. So I'm a very emotional, you know,
And
Yankee
people that
fan.
are questioning Ben Rice catching, I mean, the Yankees sent Garrett Cole to Somerset last year to rehab, and Ben Rice was behind the plate. They could have put anybody back there. They could have, but don't think that that doesn't mean anything, that he can't handle, catching major league pitching, because the Yankees could have let anybody kind of catch Cole in that start last year. So I think that is something that should be looked at more. That Ben Rice should get more time behind the plate here. I mean, I don't know. All I know is that if the Major League Baseball made a rule for Shohei Ohtani to be a two-way player so he can pitch and then go to DH after he's done pitching, that there should be a two-way player rule for the Yankees where DJ LeMahieu only plays second base and one of the outfielders hits for him.
Sure.
So essentially, the Yankees have two DHs. Only DJ LeMahieu has to play second base.
I can't even tell you what DJ's hitting right now because he gets up to the plate and I that's when I get up to go to the
And again, it's
bathroom.
the same. What I said this about, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, is that he won't die. And it's like every time his average dips and his OPS dips, and people are like, DFA time, he gets like 4 or 5 hits. And it's like, oh, maybe there's something left. And then his average goes up a little bit and it's kind of looking respectable. And then he realizes that he's old and washed up.
Yeah, his defense. I mean it's not terrible,
He
but like
doesn't
there's
have he's sure-handed. He will make the plays that he gets to. Problem is he's got no range.
he's not agile or anything like that. When he's
He's hitting
diving for the ball,
I mean
he's an old man.
he's hitting 240 uh with an OP. Why is this not sliding over? His OPS is 640. He's hitting 240 with an OPS of 640. OPS plus is 81. He's ass. Okay. The Yankees can definitely look for an upgrade there. But will they? I mean
No,
that's gonna be the big question here.
no. Because his batting average is league average, and that's what most people pay attention to, and they're gonna just ride that out. They don't want to lose. They don't. It's wasted money if they DFA him. It's not like he's a $2 million player, so they'll march him out there left and right instead of letting Jazz play second, where he was playing perfectly fine. I mean, I don't know.
And this is a
Can't,
lot. Go ahead.
you can't argue that Peraza should be playing over DJ because Peraza's friggin' ass offensively.
But
Defensively,
he's better
he's
than LeMahieu defensively.
yeah, he's better than a lot of
But
them.
if neither one of them's going to hit, I mean, I don't know what. Maybe Peraza should play more then. I don't know.
Well, because then that's the unknown too, because Peraza's not getting consecutive at bats. He's not able to, you know what I'm saying? It's very spotty here, 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 and then he's always getting pinch hit for too. So it, it leaves a little bit. Obviously, everyone knows I say all the time I'm a big Peraza guy, but like I'm not like riding as high that wave as I had been. But like it leaves room to wonder what would he be if he got consistent at bats for a week or two? Would he start? But defensively, he's a stud. Uh, DJ LeMahieu's not doing it.
DJ LeMahieu.
DJ LeHand job is what I call him now.
Oh, is that what you want from him?
No,
Because
because
I would prefer him, hitting the baseball.
nobody likes a hand job.
You weirdo.
DJ LeHand job.
Okay. Anyway, uh, last thing we'll talk about here before we look ahead to the athletic series is Josh Chisholm's ejection on Tuesday night. Look, I made a video about this. If you're not following us on TikTok, please do so. It's NYYST podcast. Uh, but I'll just kind of paraphrase what I said there for people that may have missed it. You got to be smarter, man. I'm sorry. You have to be smarter in that situation. I understand it's 2-0. The ball is it's atrocious. It's a terrible, terrible call. I know that. I'm not saying that it wasn't. Everybody and their mother, unless you're a major league umpire, knows how much one pitch can change an at bat. I get it. The Yankees are scuffling. He wants to get on base. He wants to try to create something. I understand. But he let you talk and talk and talk. Guys have said a lot less and gotten run. And he let Jazz go on and on and on, right? And he kept going. I understand what you said about Trevino, and I didn't know that at the time until I saw the video of it. And Trevino wants to be, whatever he
Snitch.
wanted, a snitch. He wants whatever he was doing. Let him look at you. What are we, 5? Oh, he's looking at me. So let him look at you. Don't talk to him anymore. Who cares? We'll put the Yankees in a position where in the ninth inning and extra innings, JC Escar is playing third base. We all love Jazz's passion. He's one of the few guys that shows any emotion on this team. But I go back to this kind of being a low IQ baseball team. You got to be smarter than that, bro. You have to be. Because then Peraza's got to come into the game to play defense for you, and they're not going to let Peraza hit, so they got a pinch hit for him, and Escar's playing third base in the 10th inning. It didn't cost the Yankees the game, but it's just something you got to have your head screwed on straight in that situation. Let him look at you. What's he going to do? Are you going to melt? Is he Medusa? Are you going to turn to stone? Let it go, dude. He let you talk and talk and talk. And who's Boone mad at in the post game? Jose Trevino. Come on now. He said it should be a learning experience for Jazz. Oh, great. That's the closest Boone will ever get to criticizing anybody. But he's more mad at Jose Trevino. Who cares? Jazz is the one that's got to sort of restrain that situation. And then I don't even think Jazz was mad about what Trevino did because they were being playful with each other yesterday. But come on, Jazz. Everybody, we all love you, dude. My problem with you is that you think you're Barry Bonds and you're not. You're a guy that needs to get on base more, and you've been better since you've been back from the IL. I acknowledge that. But come on, man. Rein it in there in that situation. Put the Yankees in a really bad spot. Didn't not again, not the reason they lost. It didn't end up costing them the game. It really played no factor in the game, but it could have. You don't want to have JC Escar, your backup catcher, playing third base in extra innings. And Kay's like, well, he played third base coming up in the minors. When? When is that? How is that even relevant? I played third base in 5th grade. Could the Yankees put me in the game then? All I'm saying, man, is I know some people came to Jazz's defense that he did nothing wrong. Eventually, you got to realize it's time to stop talking, man. Because the umpire did let Jazz get away with a lot. It was almost like he knew that he screwed up, and this is the only thing that he could do to make it right is let Jazz talk and talk and talk. But once you get back out in the field and you're still saying things, whether or not he's looking at you, it's time to just, okay, we're done here.
Anger issues. Maybe he needs a Zoloft. Listen, I'm not gonna get on Jazz about it. I get it. It was a lot when he went out to third base, and then people stare at you all the time. You're driving down the parkway, or we're driving to Yankee Stadium. How many times people stare at us, and then we sit there, we scream and yell back at him and stuff like that. It's unbecoming of us, So I don't want to talk bad about him because I don't really let people stare at me and me not really saying anything back. But, you're a professional baseball player. People pay lots of money to come watch you play a
Did he
game.
think that the umpire was going to fight him in that situation?
Yeah, like that's what it is, like I don't know. Then I feel like the umpires too, they make it about them, but he didn't throw him out at first. You know what I'm saying? So he let him go. And like you said, maybe he knew he made a mistake because a lot of these umpires are always quick and it's like, oh no, I'm the star of the show. And they throw the guys out. I don't really feel like it was that situation. And then when you got Jose Trevino saying, hey, look at this guy, he's breaking your balls. You almost need to throw somebody out at that point because now other players are noticing it. And then if you don't, everybody else is going to do it to you. And then if you don't throw them out or you do throw them out, they're like, oh, you let Jazz do it. It was kind of like one of those situations. So he does. He needs to be better than that. I mean, he's still a young player. He needs to grow up a little bit, but his passion, I love it. It's what makes him him. He's a flashy
Yeah,
player.
don't lose the passion. Just be smarter about certain situations.
Yeah, he's got charisma. He's a fun player to watch.
It's refreshing because this team is so
Yes.
buttoned up a lot of the times and so like, where the
Yeah, you got like
Yankees?
Giancarlo Stanton's like the Terminator. He's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Aaron Judge doesn't, like,
Judge's G. That's you want to make the comparisons to Judge and G. That's the same. They're the same guy in that regard. They give you
yeah.
nothing. I love both of them,
They're
but
like, Judge will give you like a half a smirk or something like that, say something, but there's really nobody else there. Volpe too. He's very monotone. There's not much.
I mean, you
I mean,
got Garrett Cole's he's more quirky than anything, and
Garrett Cole sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Max Fried. I mean, I love Max Fried, but just listen to him talk. I just pitch, don't talk pitch.
Yeah. Jazz Chisholm's like bouncing around all happy and all that shit. So you don't want him to lose that. You want him to be the player. That's what makes him who he is. But you just don't want him thrown out of games. That's it. You need to know when to just shut your mouth and move on. That's it.
It's
we all want to tell our boss he's a fucking asshole every once in a while, and there's something in our brains that says, maybe you shouldn't do that today. So, Jazz Chisholm needs to have that same voice in his head that gets him to stop doing those things.
well,
Otherwise, that's
2 points from Scott right here. Number one, Jazz is getting a reputation for being a barker now, which yes, he is, and that's never anything you want to have. Uh, on some of these close pitches because the umpires maybe won't let that go your way. And then he also mentioned that the mid-market, small market Reds ate $24 million of Jeimer Candelario's salary because he wasn't performing. But whatever is left on DJ's deal is too much to ask the Yankees to do.
a very good point.
So, Scott, you're usually right on these things. Okay.
Yeah, look what happened to Boone when he got that reputation as he's going to keep busting the umpires' balls. Look at one of the quickest ejections, and he doesn't get thrown out very much anymore because the umpires showed him who was boss, and that's really what they have to deal with.
Well,
He does
he got bullied by an umpire, so.
he did he got bullied, and
So I mean, go ahead.
he acted like a bitch.
Well, on that note, I mean, we're not going to go too far ahead here, but this is the last opportunity for the Yankees before the All-Star break to take a look at a series and say we are definitively better than this team and by a lot, where we should be able to go out there and crush them because after they play Oakland, they go to Toronto, they play the Mets in Citi Field, then Seattle, who Yankees always usually handle Seattle, but they're not terrible. They're 41-39. And then the Cubs, who are 48-33, one of the best teams in baseball this year. So I mean, this is really the last opportunity before the All-Star break where the Yankees can really look at a team and say we should just be able to smack them and walk away with a series win here. And honestly, if the Yankees don't sweep the friggin' A's, it's going to be a disappointment. They have to come home and in this little brief homestand here and play good baseball. And they swept them out in They swept them out in Oakland, right? Am I correct? Or did they lose one of those games?
I feel like they lost one. I
They
know.
lost the middle game. They lost the middle game. So
Yeah,
come home and beat a bad baseball team and beat them up. Don't scrape by and win a couple. Win these games 10-2.
yeah.
Make them put a position player on the mound at least once in this series because they're so far behind. That's the type of series the Yankees need to have this weekend against Oakland. Make sure that ballpark is full after the final pitch tomorrow night because Friday night is fireworks night. Don't be like letting 5,000 people sit there watch fireworks because everybody left disgusted watching the Yankees play baseball. That's the type of series the Yankees need to have. And you got Mitch Spence, who's a solid pitcher, 3.84 for the A's going tomorrow night against Will Warren. Again, just loving everything I've been seeing out of Will Warren lately, and hopefully he keeps it going here. But come on, Mitch Spence should not come into Yankee Stadium and shut the Yankees down. Let's be realistic. He's good. He's solid. He's a mid-rotation type guy. the Yankees should come on. You know, I hate coming on here saying the Yankees should, the Yankees, but and then they don't because they're just up, they're just ass right now. But come on, just win the fucking game tomorrow.
There's a difference of being ass and slumping and then losing to the A's
So
at
that's a
home.
7:05 start. Then 1:05 on Saturday. Clark Schmidt back against JP Sears, who's pitching to a 5.44. The Yankees just always, since they've traded him, beat him up. Do the same thing. Beat up JP Sears again. Win a baseball game on Saturday. And then the Yankees and Luis Severino's ERA on the road is like almost 2 runs lower than it is when he pitches in that abomination in Sacramento. He's 4.83 overall against TBD right now. You know, you beat up your old buddy Sevy when you were out in Oakland. Do it again. Win a baseball game. Sweep the Oakland A's. I'm not asking you to go into LA and sweep the Dodgers. I'm asking you to sweep the fucking A's in in Yankee Stadium. Is that really too much to ask? That might be a rhetorical question.
Uh, they need to win. I don't want to be pissed off. That'll drive me nuts. Severino, they should be able to beat it up on him. Half those guys watch Severino grow up and pitch. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody that they're familiar with. I just feel like they should be able to beat up on him. JP Sears, they already did. They have to win. If they don't win, I'll be very skeptical if we can make it even to the world, anywhere to the AL championship, let alone the friggin' World Series.
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't
do they
know.
have somebody in the chat said they can hit a little bit. Great, but they're 33 and 50. They're 33 and 50. And then we'll come back on here after the game on Sunday, be like, how did they lose a series to the A's? Because that's just how terrible they've been lately. But come on, you got a team that's 33 and 50 coming to your ballpark, and you need to start playing better baseball. It's right there. What does Aaron Boone like to say? It's right in front of us. It's right there. You have a very bad baseball team coming into your ballpark. Win.
You know, Miguel Andujar, right? Miguel Andujar, Gio Urshela's on the team, JP Sears, and
A lot of former
it's
Yankees,
like
yeah.
it's everybody the Yankees didn't want anymore. You know what I'm
Celia,
saying? So
Celia, the Yankees lost the game to the A's. I'm not underestimating them. I'm just saying this is a 33 and 50 team coming into your ballpark when you've been on a 5-9 stretch here and your AL East lead is basically gone. You dropped to the third slot in the American League. Am I asking for too much for this team to finally wake up and beat and demolish a bad baseball team in their own ballpark? I hope I'm not asking for too much. And if I am, then we have to have a different conversation about this team. Because when I came on here and said after they got swept against Boston, that I said I wasn't worried and I wasn't going to get worried. If they lose to the A's at home and we're not still a first place team when we click record on Sunday, I'm going to start getting worried. And it's going to be with good reasoning.
good reasoning. No, you can't lose to the Yankee defuncts that we decided to say, goodbye. You have to beat them because then you look like an even bigger asshole.
So that's the look ahead to the A series. Like I said, we're going to be back on Sunday to record a show to talk about the A series. And please make sure you are subscribed to the NYYST podcast on any podcast platform. But for your own sake, pick your favorite one so you don't miss any of our shows throughout the course of the year. We have not been on NYYU pretty much in all of June because of the way the Yankee schedule broke and then just a lot of factors last week. So we hope that you haven't missed anything. And if you are subscribed on your favorite podcast platform, you won't miss anything because I believe we're not back on the U again for a couple of weeks here. Let me look at our schedule just for anybody that's looking forward to that. Where is our schedule here? So our next live show on NYY Underground is not until July 1st. We're live. Okay, so that's not too
Next week.
far away. Oh, wait a minute. So that screws I'm the host of the show. I'm supposed to know these things. Are the Yankees home? How's that working out? Wait a minute. That can't be right. Oh, we're live on Tuesday. Okay, because the Yankees are playing this stupid 3 o'clock game on Tuesday because of Canada Day.
Oh, Canada.
All right. So, yes, scheduling note, we will not be recording Sunday to cover the A series. We're just going to see you guys back here live Tuesday after 8 o'clock after the Yankees play the Blue Jays for Canada Day. All right. So I'm glad we looked into that. So yes, we will no show Sunday, no for release on Monday. We'll be back live Tuesday for our next episode. So but that doesn't change anything. Please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a 5-star rating and review. Tell everybody NYYST is the official Yankee podcast of Odyssey. Make sure you have liked this video if you've been watching us in the chat tonight, and subscribe to NYY Underground. We love you guys so much and thank you so much for your continued support of the show and NYYU. And we want to thank everybody for listening and watching episode 475. Sem, say goodbye.
See ya.
Can't make a promise, but I do my best. 25 sitting on 25 racks. Just got started, no, we ain't done yet. But a new crib, it's a goddamn flex. Sign that check. Told them last year that I been up next.